Hi, and welcome back to Free for All Friday. Focal Point AFR Talk, 888-589-8840. Number to call, 888-589-8840. You know, it's worth answering the question, and I did this in my response to the Huffington Post. You know, what sanctions ought to be in place? If we're going to keep sodomy laws on the book to express our criticism of certain forms of unnatural behavior, and sodomy laws are not just restricted to homosexual behavior. There are other kinds of sexual expression that also are included a lot of times in sodomy laws. But the point is, if you're going to have it on the books, then there ought to be some kind of sanctions for that kind of behavior. And I suggested that what we ought to do is follow the gay activists in Southern California. They enacted an ordinance in L.A. County that provides a penalty for anybody in a pornographic movie that would film a scene without protection. So fine. And the reason is to prevent the spread of HIV/AIDS. So I say, fine, let's follow their lead. If they think it ought to be illegal to have unprotected gay sex to protect professional actors, then we ought to have the same standard for ordinary people. Why should only professionals have that kind of protection for health? And also the CDC has indicated that intravenous drug use is just as risky to human health as homosexual behavior. So my other suggestion is whatever policies we have in place to deal with drug abuse, we ought to use those same policies to deal with the issue of homosexual behavior. Anyway, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Let's grab clip number 2. You know, one of the issues that surfaced this week is that Reince Priebus has said to CNN and NBC they're getting ready to do these miniseries. One's a documentary, the other is sort of a hagiography. Now that's a biography that presents the person as a saint, as an exalted person. And one of the networks was going to do that kind of a treatment on Hillary Clinton. And Reince Priebus says, well, if you're going to do that, if you're going to spend all this airtime promoting somebody who is going to be a political opponent of the Republican candidate in 2016, we're not coming on your network to do a debate. And and it's interesting to me that even some of the people in the media, even people at CNN and NBC, are recognizing, yeah, this is a problem. They're admitting that this is a problem. It's kind of amazing to see. Chuck Todd said, look, this whole business of this mini-series on NBC about Hillary Clinton, it is a nightmare because it's completely cobbing us up. So you got the news people over there, like the Chuck Todds, and they want to pretend that they're purely objective, they're purely neutral. That's the way they want to present themselves. And so they're willing to say, look, if our entertainment division does this canonizing treatment of Hillary Clinton, then it makes us look bad because it makes us look like we are in the tank for Hillary Clinton. And we want to at least maintain the appearance of some kind of objectivity, and this makes it hard for us to do it. So here is Robert Gibbs, clip number 3. He's a former spokesman. He's the old Jay Carney for Barack Obama, and Andrea Mitchell, CNBC, and they're both I'm trying to think of the right word. They're kind of wringing their hands over the fact that their network is looking at this miniseries on Hillary Clinton, both agreeing this is a really bad idea. Let's listen.
I want to ask you about Reince Priebus because you've been involved in debates, debate prep, debate negotiations.
Right.
And here you've got the Republican chairman, I would say understandably miffed about these Hillary Clinton films, one a documentary, the other an entertainment film, right, which is, you know, all about
a bad idea.
A movie. And,
a bad idea.
A lot of news people would say, including NBC News people, including Chuck Todd and all the rest of us, a really bad idea given the timing.
So she's saying, look, it's a bad idea, just given the timing. It'd be fine to paint her as a saint in a non-election campaign era or when she wasn't going to run, but it just kind of looks bad. The timing is bad here. Now, Charles Krauthammer, this is clip number 2. Charles Krauthammer says, look, you know, this whole thing is revealing because you got people out there saying, hey, what's the problem here? You got a lot of people out there saying, what's the problem? Why are these Republicans complaining about this? A lot of people giving them a really a hard time about Reince Priebus having a problem with these debates. And Reince Priebus saying, look, we're not gonna go into an arena where we know that the referee is playing for the other side, where we know that the referee is the 12th man for the other team. We're not going to go into that kind of environment. And it's just wigging the CNN people out, wigging out the NBC people. It's wigging out the whole mainstream media types because they're used to having Republicans that just roll over and let them scratch their tummy and pat them on the head and go into these venues where they just get chewed up. And Reince Priebus said, we're done with all of that. And it's tremendously encouraging for conservatives to see the head of the Republican Party stand up and say, look, we're not going to get pushed around anymore. We're tired of being played for chumps on these presidential debates. But you have a lot of people on the left that are supporting what CNN is doing, supporting what NBC is doing, and they just cannot get it through their heads that there could be a problem of bias here. And Charles Krauthammer comments on that.
What's revealing here is everyone knows that the media are biased. It's documented 100 different ways. But this tells you that some of them are so biased at the networks that they live in a bubble where it doesn't even occur to them that there is something untoward about having, 4 days miniseries with a glamorous actress in the lead role leading up to a presidential election. The other part of this I think is interesting is that Reince admitted that there's no way these are going to be canceled. I think he's right about that because it'll look like a back down. However, it will have an effect. The people who make it, who might have been prepared to do pure hagiography, a life of the saint, are going to think twice about that and are going to at least going to want to make an effort at painting a picture that is, if anything, slightly more complex. So I see this as an incremental victory.
So Charles Krauthammer is saying, look, this is moving the ball forward. It might temper the effort to paint Hillary Clinton as Mother Teresa. It could kind of bring some realism to the portrayal. But he makes the point, and I've observed this a lot because I talk to a lot of liberals, and either Twitter exchanges or doing interviews on mainstream media outlets with Alan Colmes or Tom Hartman or the Huffington Post or whatever. I try to go into as many of those venues where I'm invited. And, Krauthammer is making the observation, these people in the mainstream media on the left, they live in a bubble. They live in a bubble. Now, you and I, we deal with liberal argumentation and liberal reasoning every day. So we're aware of what they think, what they believe. We deal with it. We respond to it. We react to it. But these liberals, they live in this bubble, this biosphere, which is completely insulated from conservative thought. Conservative thought is exiled there. Conservatives are exiled. Conservatives have no place. Conservative thought has no place. So these people never engage in any kind of interaction with anybody that disagrees with them, any meaningful interaction in their personal world. They're not around anybody that has a different point of view. As far as they're concerned, we're like extraterrestrials. We're like aliens. So they live in this bubble where everybody they ever talk to agrees with them and reinforces their own prejudices. So it doesn't even occur to them. And so what this creates in their mind is that this is the only way that the world could be looked at. The way we look at it is obviously fair. It's obviously neutral. It's obviously objective because there's nobody in our world that thinks any differently. So this is normal. This is the standard way to look at things. We're not biased. We're just looking at the world the way every sensible, well-educated person looks at the world, and they simply are clueless as to how bent and distorted their perspective actually is. I don't remember who it was, but I distinctly remember this. They were shocked. I think it was when Richard Nixon won a landslide election in 1972, took 49 states or something like that, and they were shocked because, and she admitted, I don't know anybody that voted for Richard Nixon. I don't know. So she was just shocked at that he could win a landslide election because as far as she was concerned, as far as her personal experience was concerned, there wasn't anybody in the United States of America that was going to vote for Richard Nixon. If there was going to be a landslide, it was going to be a landslide for Mondale because everybody she knew, everybody in her entire personal world was going to vote against Nixon and for Mondale. So it's just an indication of just how insulated these people are, how insulated they are from reality. They never have to deal with conservative arguments. They just dismiss them as bigoted or racist or homophobic or discriminatory, and they think that because they can slap a label on it, they don't have to pay any attention to the argument itself. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Larry in Shreveport, Louisiana. Larry, Shreveport, Louisiana. Welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian, I certainly enjoy your show. I listen to it every day.
Thank you very much, sir.
Get a lot of good stuff out of it. Actually, the whole radio station y'all on. But what I wanted to say was, it seems like that the president gets up there and continuously, I'm going to have to say it, I hate to use this word, but he lies and lies. And what I'm concerned is nobody in the media, I know that y'all do it because I hear the contradiction and the facts come from the different programs and from you and from the others. But nobody stands up and says, Mr. President, that's not true. And the thing, he's on the major networks, ABC, Obama networks, and I guess maybe everybody thinks he's telling the truth. But, if you look at the economy and look at people without jobs, I think they're realizing that he's blowing smoke. And I figured out that the only way you could tell if he was telling untrue, if his lips are moving. So.
Yeah. Well, and that used to be the role, Larry, I appreciate the call. That used to be the role of the media. I just call them the mainstream media because they're not objective any longer. They're biased toward a liberal worldview, toward a socialist worldview. They're biased against conservatives, and they're just mean to conservatives. But here's the good news, Larry. I'm looking at results of a poll that Fox conducted. Remember President Obama and Jay Carney, his acolyte, out there saying these are all phony scandals, nothing to them. But the American people, and Larry, you ought to be encouraged by this. When I talk about us fighting a winnable war, here's evidence. This is a Fox News national poll that was released yesterday. 78% of the voters think that the administration handling of the terrorist attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi should be taken seriously. 78% say, look, that's not a phony scandal. That's a real genuine scandal. Just 17% of the American people agree with President Obama that it's phony. The NSA, the spying stuff, the electronic surveillance, 69% of voters say that's a legitimate scandal. Only 26% think it's phony. By a 59 to 31% margin, voters believe that the seizure of reporters' phone records by Eric Holder in the department, that's a serious scandal. And the IRS targeting of conservative groups, 59% think that's not a phony scandal, but serious. The American people are onto them. Focal Point AFR Talk.